Hello and welcome back to Paul's Sports Takes. As promised, this will be my predictions for the women's events at the World Athletics Championships that start in Budapest at the end of the week. Like I said in my last video, the only events that I won't be covering will be the mixed 4x4, the marathons, and the race walking events. So, with that being said, we're going to get started the same way we did with the men's, with the sprinting events. The women's 100 all year has been one of the most fun events to watch, and I absolutely believe that will carry over to the World Championships. So I have Sha'Carri Richardson taking home the gold, Shericka Jackson with the silver, and then Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce taking home the bronze. Sha'Carri has proved so many people wrong this year, and she has proved so much about herself every single race. She has won two head-to-head races against Shericka Jackson. She ran 10.76 both times. So she's shown the ability that when the best in the world are up against her, she can toe the line right with them, and she can drop fast times when she really needs to. And it just, something about it just feels like this year is going to be her year in the 100. And that does not take anything away from Shericka Jackson. She became one of the fastest women of all time this year. She has ran really, really well all year. I just am slightly leaning Sha'Carri for gold. And then Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce is someone who I think a lot of people had kind of written off coming back from injury at the start of this year. But she has ran 1082 and 1083 in the only 200 she's ran this year. So she's shown she is in shape. And knowing Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, she absolutely is a threat to make it to the podium. And I see her making it on in the bronze medal position. For the 200, I have Shericka Jackson with the gold, Gabby Thomas with the silver, and Sha'Carri Richardson with the bronze. Shericka Jackson in the 200 is just a sight to behold. She is so, so good. Last year, she ran 21:45 to win Worlds. It remains to be seen if she'll challenge FloJo's record this year. I could see it happening. I think she's probably going to run somewhere around the 12 or the 21:40s again. I don't know if she'll break into the 21:30s this year, but she will run something very fast, and I am 99% confident she will win gold. The 1% is that Gabby Thomas could win gold. She ran 21:61 2 years ago and kind of broke onto the scene, and then she didn't run great at Tokyo. And then she was injured last year, and she came back this year, and she ran really good times in the 400. And then she finally showed out and at USA Nationals ran 21:60. So that's currently the world lead. I absolutely see her running under 21:60, but I don't think she'll have what it takes to beat Shericka this year. And then for Sha'Carri Richardson with the bronze, there's a lot of women that are going to be fighting for that bronze. There's a lot of women in that 21.9s, low 22s area, including Julian Alfred, who could be a threat in the 100 as well. But because of the sheer volume of races that collegiate athletes run, I usually will try and stay away from them for medaling at Worlds, especially when it comes to the sprinting events. So I absolutely see Sha'Carri being able to drop a fast time. She ran a really, really fast wind-aided time at USA Nationals in the preliminary rounds. So I could absolutely see her doing something really fast again to take that bronze medal position, but I don't necessarily think she'll be a threat to Shericka or Gabby. For the 400, I have Marilady Paulino taking the gold, Natalia Kazmarek with the silver, and then Britton Wilson for the bronze. Paulino really needs to step her game up because she was running really well early in the season. And over her last three races, her fastest time is 49.95, which is not going to cut it. That is probably not going to be enough to even make it on the podium. But she performed really well in Tokyo, and she ran really well last year in Eugene. So if there's anyone that I believe, I'm trusting her, and I'm trusting her to be in shape, and I'm trusting her to run something fast. And especially with Sydney McLaughlin, unfortunately, out of the mix, I absolutely see her taking home the gold. Natalia Kazmarek has run really well in the Diamond League circuit this year. I believe her most recent race was 49:48, which was kind of a big breakthrough for her. And I see this year as really a coming out party for her on the world stage. And then in third, I have Britton Wilson, who I hope I'm not falling into the collegiate runner trap because she's ran so much in the 400 hurdles and 4x4 this year. But she looked really solid at USA Nationals behind Sydney McLaughlin. And so I completely trust her. She's just focusing on the 400 right now. She's not trying to run the 400 hurdles too. So I completely trust her to take home the bronze despite the fatigue in her legs right now. Two interesting cases in the field that I don't have on the podium are Shanae Miller-Weibo, who's the reigning world and Olympic champion, one of the fastest women of all time. She gave birth about 4 months ago, I believe. Her only running this year has been at the Bahamian National Championships in the Heptathlon, where she ran a pretty non-Shanae Miller-Weibo like time in the 200. So but that was about a month and a half ago now. So I really don't know what kind of shape she's in. If she even makes the finals 4 months after giving birth to a child, I will be wildly impressed. But making it on the podium, I see that as a long shot, despite how great she is. She absolutely will be back in the mix for Paris next year, but I don't see her medaling this year. Another interesting athlete to watch is Sawa Eid Nasser from Bahrain. She came out of nowhere, kinda, and ran 48:14, which is still the third fastest time ever, in Doha in 2019. And then she was suspended for about 3 years. So it'll be interesting to see. She's ran a couple races this year, and she's looked okay. But it'll be interesting to see what she can pull out on the world stage. The women's 100-meter hurdles will be one of the closest events of the whole meet. There are a plethora of women under 12:45, including everyone who I have on the podium, which is Jasmine Camacho Quinn for the gold, Kenny Harrison with the silver, and then Nia Ali with the bronze. Camacho Quinn has been running so well all year. She ran a wind-aided 12:17 earlier this year, which is freaky fast. And she won the Olympic championship 2 years ago. She has shown that she can perform at these kind of big meets, and I fully trust her to do that this year. And second, I have Kenny Harrison, who between her and Nia Ali for silver and bronze, it was really splitting hairs. But I ended up going with Kenny because she has ran much less this year, so she might have a little bit more spring in her step come the finals after the heats and the semifinals. And also, her times have consistently been faster than Ali's, despite her having the world lead. Nia Ali has only really ran in like the 12.3s and 12.4s over the last month and a half or so, whereas Kenny Harrison has been running those times all year. And then one very interesting thing to watch with the women's 100-meter hurdles is, will Toby Amusan run or not? Which still nobody knows, despite the fact we are now 3 days out from Worlds starting. In about the middle of July, she was provisionally suspended for whereabouts failures. So it's very interesting to see what will happen with the world record holder and reigning world champion. In the 400-meter hurdles, this is absolutely Femke Bol's race to lose, and I see no world in which she loses. She made herself the second fastest athlete ever earlier this year. I could see her running under 51. I don't see her approaching Sydney McLaughlin's world record from last year, but I could see her running in the 50.9s maybe, but I don't see her going much faster than that. And I say much faster than that as if there hasn't only been one person that's ever ran faster than that. It is still absurdly fast times we're talking about here. For silver, I have Shamir Little, and then for bronze, I have Dalilah Muhammad. Shamir Little ran a really, really quick 400 flat time earlier this season. She won U.S. Nationals in the 400 hurdles. She looks really good right now, so I believe she should be able to take home the silver. And then in bronze, I have Dalilah Muhammad, who is one of the greatest 400-meter hurdlers of all time, multiple-time world champion, former world record holder, and she looked really good. She took the bronze last year in Eugene. She looked really good at USA Nationals, despite, I believe she was runner-up to Shamir Little. So it'll be interesting to see what she can put together, but I believe it will be good enough to make it onto the podium in bronze. The slate of women's mid and long distance races was by far the hardest group for me to predict. For the 800, I went with Keely Hodgkinson for the gold, Mary Mora for the silver, and Natoya Gould-Toppin taking home the bronze. I'm operating under the belief that Athingmo will not be running because Bobby Kersey doesn't want track fans to be happy. If she does run, she'll probably be good for either gold or silver, but I'm under the belief that she will not be running. Keely Hodgkinson all year has been the fastest woman on the planet. She's looked really good in basically every single race she's ran in. And the gold should be hers to lose as long as she doesn't go out too slowly, because Mary Mora, her kick is unmatched. So if it's too close of a race down to the last 150, Mary Mora should be able to pull away with it. But I think that Keely Hodgkinson and her coaches will be aware of that fact, and they will have her go out at the right first 400 split to get that good separation that they need so that she won't really have to worry about Mora down the backstretch. For bronze, I went with Natoya Gould top end because she's been pretty consistent all year in that 157 range. And so I feel like in this sort of world final stage, that consistency is really what's going to shine through. And I think she'll be able to come through with the bronze. For the 1500, Faith Kipyegon should absolutely run away with this. Depending on the style of race, I don't know if she'll approach her world record, but she will run very fast and she should win. In second, I have Daribe Welteji, and then in third, I have Birke Halam. These are both two really young Ethiopian athletes. For second and third for this one, I was splitting hairs between these two and then another Ethiopian athlete who they were the top three at the Cilicia Diamond League meet, and they were all within 0.2 of a second of each other, and they all ran very fast. I went with these two because, well, Teji has been the most consistent out of those three all year, consistently running under 4, closer to like 357. And then Halam has shown really, really elite stuff, and she is only 17. So if she finds her way onto this world podium at a distance race at that young age, I will be incredibly impressed. For the 5,000, I see Faith Kipyegon capping off the greatest season in women's distance running ever. I need to do more research, but maybe the greatest season in track history ever. If she completes the 15 and 5,000 double with 3 world records in 1 year, it is just insane. So I have her taking home the gold, and then I have Letesenbet Gide with the silver. She was running against Faith Kipyegon in the race where Faith broke the world record in the 5K, and that was really close up until about the last 300 where Faith just pulled away with that 1500 speed. So I feel very confident about her ability to run a very fast time and take second. And then I have Gudaf Segay with the bronze. For the 10K, I have Letesenbet Gide taking the gold medal and retaining her world championship from last year. I have Safan Hassan taking the silver. And Safan Hassan is a really interesting case because, once again, just like in Tokyo, she's entered in the 15, the 5, and the 10, which never happens. I don't know if she's actually going to run in all 3. It's Safan Hassan, so I wouldn't put it past her because she is insane. But she's ran really good times in all 3 of them. She has a legitimate shot to medal in every single race. I have her only medaling in the 10K. She ran a really good marathon debut over the summer, I believe. So she's shown she has that strength. She obviously has the speed as the former mile world record holder. So I absolutely believe she has everything working for her to put down a good time in the 10K. She's currently second in the world this year, and she has by far the second fastest PB out of all of the field, just behind Gide. And then I have Gudaf Segay again securing the bronze in the 10K. For the 3,000 meter steeplechase, this is a really interesting one because I have Jacqueline Chepkoech taking the gold, and then Beatrice Chepkoech, who's the world record holder, world champion from Doha. I have her taking home the silver, and then Sembo Alameyu taking home the bronze. This is yet another event, along with the 800 if Athingmo doesn't run, the 400 hurdles, potentially the 100 hurdles if Amusan is still suspended, where the world champion from last year is just not running at all to defend her title because Nora Gerudo is also suspended. So it opens up the field, and Jacqueline Chepkoech has ran really well this year. She's ran, I believe, in 904. She's ran in 857, which is somewhere in the top 10 all time. So she looks to be in really great form. She is, I believe, only 19. So the things she's doing at this age are really impressive. Beatrice Chepkoech, like I said, she is the world record holder. She is definitely winding her career down. She's into her 30s now, but she still ran really well this year. So I see her taking home the silver. And then Sembo Alameyu has also found her way into the top 15 or so all time this year with around a 903, I think. So I think she'll be in great shape to take the bronze there. In the women's jumps, there are two podium positions that I feel pretty confident about, and that's Yulimar Rojas with gold in the triple jump, and then Katie Moon with gold in the pole vault. But the other 10 spots available up here could be up for grabs with literally anyone in any of these events. For the long jump, I went with Larissa Yappuccino for the gold, Tara Davis Woodhall for the silver, and then Essa Brume for the bronze. Yappuccino has been really good all year, and it seems like all she does is win. She hasn't really set out a crazy far mark. I think she's eighth or ninth in the world right now, but she's won all three Diamond League meets she's competed in. On the season, she's won 7 out of her 8 meets that she's been in. The 8th one she got second in, so she knows how to win. She knows how to put out those marks when she needs them to be. So I feel pretty confident, despite her young age, that she'll be able to take home the gold. Tara Davis Woodhall has put out some crazy marks this year. She's had a lot of jumps over 7 meters, but the problem with her is that she has yet to win a Diamond League meet that she's been at. So she's put really big jumps out in slightly less important meets, and so it's just going to be a matter of seeing if she can put that effort out in a meet with as much pressure and attention as the World Championships. So I believe she can, but I'm just leaning towards Yappuccino right now, just in case. And then Essa Brume, she has had a really down year for her standards. She's been pretty consistently below where we want her to be at, and I'm sure below where she wants to be at. But she medaled in Tokyo, and she found her way onto the podium last year. So I feel pretty confident that she'll be able to find something a little bit better than what she's been putting out, and I feel like she'll be able to find her way onto the podium. For the triple jump, we have Yulimar Rojas, who is the absolute greatest female triple jumper of all time. She is crazy, and she absolutely will win. It's just a matter of how far she will go. I believe her world record right now is at 1567, I want to say, and I believe that her season's best is in the low 15. So I don't know if she'll approach the world record, but she should absolutely jump over 15. She should absolutely win. For silver, I have Leonis Perez Hernandez, and then in bronze, I have Jasmine Moore. Perez Hernandez has been really, really consistent all year in the 1480s, 1490 range. So I feel pretty good about putting her in the silver. And then Jasmine Moore, she jumped 15 meters indoors this year, which was wild. But she has yet to really match that outdoors. She jumped really well at the NCAA championships, but she took a little step back at USA Nationals. So it'll be a matter of seeing if she can pull up her performance to that level we know she can be at, which I feel like she will be able to. For high jump is really, really wide open this year. There's a lot of women in the like 202 to 196 range, I believe. I went with Yaroslava Mahuchik taking the gold, Nikola Olaschlagers taking the silver, and then Irina Gerashenko taking the bronze. Mahuchik has looked really consistent throughout Diamond League meets this year. She's been performing really well. Olaschlagers has been really good too. I believe she's won several Diamond League meetings, but I think that Mahuchik's ceiling is just a little bit higher than Olaschlager's. So if they're both pretty clean going into like the 202, 204 range, I believe that Mahuchik has more potential to hit that 204 plus jump than Olaschlager's does. And then for Gerashenko, that one is really going to be a battle to see who comes out with that bronze, but I would lean towards her right now just for consistency's sake. Pole vault, Katie Moon is the reigning world champion, reigning Olympic champion. She has the world lead by a very significant margin this year. There's no doubt in my mind she will continue to add her trophy case with a gold medal. Wilma Murdo has been really, really good this year on the Diamond League circuit. I believe she got 6th last year at Worlds, and so I feel like this is going to be a step up for her. I can see her taking the silver. And then I have Nina Kennedy repeating her bronze medal effort from Eugene. Second and third for pole vault is really going to be a dogfight. It's kind of the same situation where the men's battle for third behind Mondo and EJ Obiena, where it's just going to see who on the day of the final doesn't miss those early jumps and they can find themselves ahead of the count going into the later jumps. So really, we're going to have to wait and see. But for right now, I'm leaning towards Murdo and Kennedy for those two spots. When it comes to women's discus, there's a clear and obvious top dog in Valerie Allman. She has the sixth best throws in the world right now, but this is also the same position she was in moving into last year's World Championships, and she ended up in the bronze medal position. So I feel like last year will prove to be very important for her as she now has more experience overcoming adversity within one meet. And so I feel like even if she has some bad throws on the early throws, or if someone else goes really big, she'll now have the mental fortitude to kind of stay focused on her technique and be able to put something big out there. So I have no doubt in my mind that she'll be able to come through with the gold this year. In silver, I have Sandra Perkovic, who is at the tail end of one of the greatest female discus careers of all time. It seems like she always finds a way, regardless of the kind of season she's having. She always finds a way to end up on the podium. So I feel like she'll repeat her silver performance from last year. And then for bronze, I have Jorinda van Klinken finally securing her first global medal on the senior division. She is really good. She is the second best athlete that is coming to Worlds right now. She has thrown over 70 meters in her career. She's coming to the meet for shot put too. She's probably the best shot put disc double athlete in the world right now, male or female. She is that good. And so yeah, she's a really great talent. But this year, I feel like Perkovic and Allman might just be a step ahead of her still at this kind of meet. So I have her in the bronze. For shot put, I have Maggie Ewan taking the gold, Chase Ely with the silver, and Gong Li Zhao taking home the bronze. Maggie Ewan has been putting out really far marks every meet she's been to this year. She threw 1990 at U.S. Nationals last month. She threw 2045 in LA at the beginning of the year. She's thrown multiple meets over 19.5. She's just been by far the most consistent performer in the world right now, and I feel confident about putting her at gold. Chase Ely, she won Worlds last year with a huge first-round effort of 2051, and that capped off one of the best women's shot put seasons in recent memory, I believe. She was just putting out she had a bunch of throws over 20, and she was really good. But this year has absolutely not been up to her standards. She's thrown over 20, but she's also had a lot of meets under 19, which is very abnormal for her. But I don't believe that she's thrown since USA Nationals, so she's had almost a full month and a half now to get back in the lab and get her technique just right. And so I feel very confident that she'll be able to come out and perform at least resembling the world champion from last year. So I feel like she'll be able to take home the silver. And then Gong Li Zhao, I believe if she medals at this Worlds, it'll be her 7th World Championships in a row on the podium, which is an absurd stat, but that just speaks to the consistency and the greatness of her. She was really close to beating Chase Ely last year, and I feel like this year she'll be able to stay on that podium with the bronze. She's currently tied with Chase Ely for second in the world right now, but I feel like Ely might have that edge this year. For javelin, Haruka Kitaguchi is far and away the world number one this year. She's been so consistent in every Diamond League meet that I've seen. She has the world lead by, I believe, almost a full meter. She's just been really, really good. She's a pretty clear gold medal favorite in my opinion. For the silver, I have Kelsey Lee Barber, who is the reigning two-time world champion. She got bronze in Tokyo. She has had a pretty down year as well, similar to Sandra Perkovic, but I believe she will be able to perform at a high level when it comes to Worlds, and she'll be able to find her way onto the podium. And then for the bronze, I have Mackenzie Little, Kelsey Lee Barber's countrywoman. She has been really consistent all year in the 64 to 65 range. She's been killing it at Diamond League meets. So I have every ounce of belief in her to continue that kind of form into Worlds. In the hammer throw, this is one where really for the last couple of years now, it's been the top three and then everyone else. So I have Brooke Anderson taking home the gold, Cameron Rogers with the silver, and then Deanna Price with the bronze. Brooke Anderson has been freakishly consistent all year. She's coming off of winning Worlds last year, and she's just been in really great form now for the last 2 years straight. So I believe she will be able to overcome the other two and secure the gold. Cameron Rogers is just getting better and better seemingly every meet she goes to. She is crazy talented, and next year I believe she will have a much better chance at gold, but this year I feel like it's still going to be Anderson. And then Deanna Price is still really, really good. She's had a little bit of a down year this year, which is surprising because she absolutely shattered the world record in the weight throw indoors this year. But outdoors, it hasn't necessarily been up to what she wants it to be. So I believe she'll still find her way onto the podium, but I think she'll just be a step behind Brooke and Cameron right now. For the heptathlon, this is absolutely the Anna Hall show. She has the world lead by 300 or so points right now. The question is not going to be if she wins. The question is going to be, will she break 7,000 points, which I believe she absolutely can. She scored 69.88, I believe, and got this earlier this year. So she absolutely has it in her to go 7,000 plus. Her big thing is that she is so much better at the 800 than anybody else on the world is right now when it comes to the heptathlon. So if she's somehow finds herself behind, she will absolutely be able to make up points there. But like I said, she won't have to worry about that because she will be probably 300 points ahead of everyone. In the silver, I have Anouk Vetter, who she has not completed a full heptathlon this year. I believe she's started 2, and she has DNFs in both of them. But so it's really a question mark of if she'll even be able to finish. But if she does, she got silver last year in Eugene. She got silver in Tokyo. So when she does, she is absolutely among the best in the world. And I feel like she'll be able to pull something together. And then for the bronze, I have Katarina Johnson-Thompson, who has looked to be in pretty good form so far this year in comparison to the rest of the world, where nobody else has really put out a big high mark yet other than Anna Hall. But like I said, with the men, multis are kind of hard to predict just because people don't usually run a significant amount of them before Worlds comes around. And the heptathlon is an event that's really suffering this year from people not being there because we have the reigning world and Olympic champion Nafi Tiam, who will not be competing. And then additionally, we have Adriana Sulik, who I believe was on the podium in Tokyo and 4th last year, I believe. And she's just an amazing athlete as well. And she also will not be here because I believe she's giving birth soon. So heptathlon is definitely an event that's suffering from the people who aren't there, but with the presence of Anna Hall, it still will definitely be something to watch just to see what she can do. For the 4x1, I have Jamaica taking the gold, and then followed by the USA in silver and Ivory Coast in bronze. Jamaica, Elaine Thompson-Herah will be running in the relays. She didn't qualify for any of the individual events, but she'll be in the relay pool. And any team with Sharika Jackson, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, and Elaine Thompson-Herah on it is just really, really scary to think about. Elaine Thompson-Herah has been very much out of form this year, but it's still 3 of the, I believe, 6 or 7 fastest women of all time on one relay team. So USA was able to sneak one out from them last year, but I don't see that happening again, despite how deep the USA is this year. And then I have taken the silver. We have a lot of really good runners. It's going to be a matter of putting together a good race. And then in the bronze, I have the Ivory Coast. They have Marie-Josée Tolu. They have Saini, I believe. So they have a couple really strong runners. And in one of the Diamond League meets, I believe, earlier in the season, I saw them run a 4x1. And they ran a very, very fast time. And that was back in late May, early June, I think. So they can absolutely put a good team together to medal on the world stage. For the 4x4, I have the US. We always win 4x4s. It stinks. This is another one where the absence of Sydney McLaughlin will be missed because it's always exciting to see what she splits for a 4x4, especially now she's been focusing more on the flat 4. But we should still win that very easily. Jamaica should be a pretty clear second for that one. And then the Netherlands with Lika Klaver, and if they have Femke Bol run it, they should be able to put together a very solid squad to take the bronze. So that is a wrap for my men's and women's predictions at Worlds this year. I'm very excited to see how it shakes out because for the women's side, I am much shakier on a lot of my picks because I felt like looking at the world rankings, going off what I've seen in Diamond League meets and stuff this year, I feel like in a lot of the events, there's more parity and there's a less clearly defined top 3 than there were in most of the men's events. But like I said, that just means there's going to be more chance for upsets, more chance for big surprises to happen. So I can't wait for all that to shake out. Like I said in the men's video, I've been waiting for this week all year. I'm so excited that it's finally here. I'm so excited to have 9 days straight of watching track. Um, a lot of the qualification events are going to be happening from like 1 to 7 in the morning US time. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how many of those days I feel like waking up for that. But it'll probably be at least one or two. If you want to keep more up to date with what's happening as the meet's going on, if you follow the Instagram at Paul's Sports Takes, I will definitely be doing some live and up to the minute stuff there. I'm very excited to be covering this for you guys. If you want to see that, like I said, the Instagram is at Paul's Sports Takes. For my next video on here, I don't necessarily know what it's going to be yet. It might be Patriots season preview because that's coming up pretty quick. It might be my top 10 current male athletes in the world. But regardless of what it is, I'm very excited to put it out for you guys. If you guys want to see that, hit the subscribe button. Turn the bell on for post notifications. If you guys like this video, please drop a like. That would really help. If you have any questions or comments or debates or anything, feel free to put those in the comment section down below, and I will get back to you guys. With that being said, that is all for me. So I will see you guys next time.